Welcome to the Business Benchmark Group podcast, where you'll learn how to think strategically about your business and discover that while business is not easy, it doesn't need to be hard. With over 20 years experience in turning stalling businesses into thriving enterprises, here is your host, Stefan Kazakis, the founder and CEO of Business Benchmark Group.
Hi, I'm Stefan Kazakis from Business Benchmark Group, and we're going to be sharing a story with one of our younger and more driven business owners. He runs an electrical contracting business called Powercom Electrical, and Simon and Kylie have they've been clients of ours since early 2016 and started in our Board of Directors 12 immersion program and have gone on to bigger and better things. And I guess it's such a relevant story and a relevant sharing within this interview. And it's an interview that Damien conducts with Simon and Kylie, and it's so relevant because for many of us this is a place we've all been. It's a place where we started, and the results and the mountain that we need to climb to get to a place called a living is such a it's a fight, it's a battle. And I guess Simon shares and Kylie shares how they went from to and being in a situation right now where they're three times the business they were 2.5 years ago, and it ain't stopping. This is a journey that is getting easier because they're understanding the power of leverage and leveraging building people and better level customers and better reputation in very, very, very clearly understood ideal target market areas. So rest assured, this is a great story, and every one of us has in one way or another gone through this process in our earlier days in business. Enjoy. Simon and Kylie Frank from Powercom, interviewed by our senior strategist, Damien Churton. So we're going to go into our interview right now. And before I set up for this, I just want you guys to understand this, like everyone, we all come to a point where there's a crossroad. And then, a question goes up in our mind before our arm gets raised, right? Is this as good as it gets? For every one of us in this business, in this room, including me, the question that must always be asked is this as good as it gets? What am I settling for? What am I still very, I get up at 2 a.m. and think, I could be doing better. This could be doing better. This must be doing better, right? And it's a do word. Look at the do's that I've just shared with you. Not I must be. The must be is a martyr's way of thinking. I must be better is an individual conversation. The we must do better is a leverage and a let's do better conversation. So the moment you get to a crossroad which says, okay, this is not as good as it gets and we can be doing better, then we become curious as to what's out there. And for Simon and Kylie Frank, who again in this at this stage of their life and in their business life, they were doing a really good job. They got introduced to us in the early stages of 2016, and they were brave enough and courageous enough to put their hand up and say, okay, we've been getting mentoring. I'm not sure how that's working, but it's time to step it up. Time to get into a conversation that's a little more strategic. Time to confirm the discipline that comes with running and growing a family-based business, a young family-based business. And since May 2016, these are the fast facts. So Simon joined Board of Directors 12 in the program that kicked off in May 2016, just over 2 years ago. And the revenue has grown threefold in 2 years. That sort of gets me excited. The real exciting bit is sales profit, right? From a kitchen table to a factory with a team of 11 in 2 years. So we've grown the resource structure, and we have a conservative approach to growing people. We don't just do it because, I can't be bothered anymore. We do it in a way that's really trigger pointed. And to a certain degree, we need to get a little more expedited with that. We won an A-grade client this year that will deliver a $500,000 annual influence to our top line. We have also figured out the way to keep on doing that as and when we need to. And we don't need 5 of those every year, but we need at least 2 going forward. We've also built that sales process that continuously is filling our work in progress and ensuring that we've always got work ahead of us and gives us the confidence to keep on building the team that's going to be better than us in what we used to do. So without a further ado, they're now currently working with Damien in one-on-one customised coaching, and they're not far from being selected to onboard an executive board program. So without a further ado, I'm going to introduce Simon and Kylie Frank from Powercom. Come on, guys. And their coach, who's going to interview them, Damien Churton. Take a seat.
So, let's get going. You started your business in 2007.
I did.
You started working with us in 2016. So that would be a 9-year period. What were the highlights of the first 9 years?
So the first year in business was probably the easiest, I would say.
Yep.
I had Brad. I employed my first apprentice after 3 months. And the first year we did a $70,000 profit, which was, at the time I thought that was quite good.
Really good.
That enabled me to get married, get engaged, buy a house, spend all my tax money, every single cent. And then I knew I had a plan. I said, right, 2 years or a year and a half to save that tax money and we'll get back on top. So then the first 3 years of business was pretty good.
Yep.
And then we started to employ A grades, more apprentices. I think we had 4, including me, on the team. Me being on the tools at the time. So I suppose from there we were up here, relatively up here, and then it just went down really quick. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, we bought a new house, we had a baby, so those big life experiences sort of, got in the way. Yeah, we got married and, a lot of life, big life events, and you take your eye off the ball. Because I stopped working because I was a primary school teacher, so we didn't have that income anymore. So we were sort of, I think we were still living the way we were living, but not having the same income. So
I think going into trade, especially, I was an excellent tradesman. I still am, but I'm not on the tools. But that's all I knew. I didn't know management. I didn't know what to look for when I'm hiring. I didn't know, I thought, well, if I employ an A grade and I could get an apprentice to work with him, they're fine. I don't need to look after them. They'll just do their job and they'll do their job properly. But, that's where the management side of things I was a little bit light on with. So third or the fourth year of business, we made $16,000 profit, which was pretty tough. And it's still hard to talk about. You've got a second year apprentice that earns more than you for 2 years is,
hard.
Yeah,
it's hard. Yeah. So those scars, and we talk about scars all the time, and it's tough. It's really tough. But moving forward from there, I had to go right back to basics. So we basically peeled it right back, got rid of guys, and we went again. So basically, all our systems, everything had to change. We went right back to an email-based system. We were still on the carbon copy invoices and quotes.
And things were getting lost. Like you'd have a statement come in from your supplier, and you're like,
"What's this for?"
What's this for?
Yeah.
Like we had no idea where material was going, how much the A grade was, putting onto the account. So it was just mismanagement. It just nothing was.
A $30,000 bill for the month from your supplier, and you think, "Fuck, where did that go?"
Yeah. Where is it?
Where is it?
You literally don't know where it is.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So going right back to basics, and then I suppose learning the hard way. Even though my dad was an accountant, he was a tax accountant. He taught me the basics of business, but he just said, you need to learn, basically, and I did. I learned the hard way. The hard way, definitely the hard way. So from there, all our systems went really basic. We changed, and then thereon we sort of started to go back up. I think the second year after that, we did 60,000 profit, which was a good turnaround, considering we basically made nothing. And then we went, from there we sort of grew and grew and grew, and then we got to a point, it would have been 4 or 5 years ago, about 4 years ago, we sort of plateaued, and we were making good money. I suppose if I was working for someone else, given the experience that I had, I probably could have earned the same money working for someone, but I figured, well, it just wasn't an option for me.
Yeah, you couldn't go back to working for someone. Once you've had your own business, very hard to then follow orders from someone else. And
And I think I had a lot more drive in me than, nothing against people that just work on wages, but I had that drive and I wanted that ambition to succeed. So yeah, that's where we hit that plateau, and then I think a client of BBG put me onto you guys, and then sat down with Steph 2 years ago, and then that was basically it.
I'm sure no one in the room relates to this story at all, because you all started your journeys and it all just went perfectly, you know, step, 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 and then ching, 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 and there was none of this sort of stuff going on. So what this sounds to me like is roughly over a 9-year period, you learnt the hard way.
Yeah.
Yeah. You learn from your mistakes like everybody else.
Yeah.
And then you got to a crossroads. Then you got to a point in time where you were plateaued.
Yep.
And this is also very typical, and there are literally points in a business's growth whereby plateaus are reached.
Yep.
And the plateaus and the glass ceilings continue to be reached, and they are constantly, in our opinion, a function of the business owner's own knowledge and experience.
Yeah. Yep.
And it happens at 1 million, 2 million, 5 million, 10 million, and it keeps on going. So you'd reach one of those points and presumably you were a bit frustrated.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, as I said, we were making all right money, but I figured, well, it's the point of getting out of bed every day. You deal with the employees, you deal with their shit, you deal with, you know, clients not paying. You deal with everything that you deal with in business. And I thought, well, something has to change. Enough is enough, pretty much. So and I'd grown my business with help of family and whatnot, and other networks of people that are in business. And I felt I got it to a level that I knew I'm comfortable to get it to this level. But if I want to go to that next level and grow to 2, 3, 5, whatever we're doing, whatever the goal is, was definitely, I needed help for it.
Yep.
And it wasn't just, like, it was everything. It was systems, processes, you know, recruiting, knowing when to employ, you know, learning that I have to recruit, you know, 24/7. Which is,
And managing your guys, I find that sometimes you just blow his top and not actually, now you will sit down and, you know, and actually speak to his employees and find out what's going on personally with them.
Yeah.
Because there's always something going on in the background with your employees as to why they're not performing or concentrating or whatever. He's very good at drawing that out of someone and realising that, oh, it's not work.
Yeah.
They're having a baby, or they've bought a new house and they're struggling, or, you know, there's...
They're not getting paid enough.
Yeah, they're not getting paid enough. Well, they feel they're worth more, which, you know, at some point, you know, that's fine.
So talk me through it, because the sales growth, and it has been profitable sales growth, because revenue growth without profit at the bottom is no point.
No.
Talk us through your journey over the last couple of years, and I'm going to put a figure on the table, because you were doing about, I think, when you started. So those in the room that can do their maths can work out what 300% is on that. And we're now doing that consistently, which is also the other key thing, is that sales growth, which is just like a boom, sudden little explosion, is absolutely pointless. The whole point here is that we've managed to get it consistent. And we're now plotting the next level. Whether you're not aware of it or not, but we are plotting the next level. So just give us a few highlights as to what have you learned that has taken you 300% in 2 years.
Just getting really clear about what you want, your ideal target market, and making them understand the value of what you do. That's massive, and that's what we've learnt. We picked up a client. We basically started. That's at 500%. That 500k. That's that client. So I approached him in June last year. We didn't get a sniff at a quote or anything, and I harassed. Well, follow up, I should say, not harassed.
Structured sales process, I think, is the technical term for harassment. But yes, we went through a very structured process, didn't we, Simon? With value inserted all the way.
Strategic, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I knew when I approached this guy, I knew that we would get a lot of work from him. So I followed up, and we didn't get a quote until about 4 months ago. About 4 or 5 months. And since then, we've done $500,000 worth of work. And that's doing a lot of 7-Eleven refurb works. So again, the 7-Eleven, the client that we're working for, they do a lot of 7-Eleven, a lot of Bunnings, a lot of shop fitting. So that's shop fitting is my target market, and they've been amazing for our business. But just getting back to your question, getting really clear about what you're looking for, and then don't deviate from that. I would normally go, there's a builder, I'd ring him. I wouldn't really care about background or anything. So I think finding out background, who they are, what they do, what they are as a company in terms of culture. They need to fit culture-wise with our company as well. And that's huge. I mean, this client in particular, I actually rang him a month ago or 2 weeks ago and thanked him for the work that he gives us, because I was a risk just as much as he was a risk to us. And he actually said, no, I need to thank you for your professionalism. You guys are great. All my guys get along with your guys. Like, he had nothing but good things to say about that side of things. So the people that value that are the people that we want to work with, not the people that say, you're in the money, you've got, you're quoting against 2 or 3 people, but you get what you get, which is what we spoke about yesterday.
So how much do you appreciate the value that you offer to your clients these days versus 2 years ago?
I appreciate it. Yeah, tenfold, a lot more. It's just. I think I appreciate it a lot more because the team, are a lot happier. The team have the same vision, I breed that culture through my team. So that makes me proud of the appreciation that I have for what we can deliver.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious as well, because for me, when you have an ideal target market, it works in so many different ways. It works because everyone enjoys the work. Because quite frankly,
people are happy.
Yeah.
Who enjoys working with C-grade clients? Nobody does. We all grit our teeth and we do it, but no one enjoys it. What differences have you seen, Kylie? Just kind of, because I know you're in the business, but you would have seen a transformation in your husband.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Stress levels, everything, gone down. He has confidence in himself to go out and get work. Like, he's always been a very personable person and, can speak to anyone. But it's just selling himself and the business and the brand. Yeah. This is what we're about. And it's that not deviating from this is the way we are. We recently this week had a client that we were just quoting for, and not getting a lot of work out of it, and
not the value.
Yeah. So we're putting all this time and effort into it, not really working very smartly because there wasn't much coming out of it. So it's easier to probably go find another A-grade client and put more effort into that rather than someone that you don't get a lot of work from. So yeah.
Perfect. So it's made a bit of a difference then.
It has. Yeah. Massive.
Now, here we have a relatively conservative person sitting in front of you. Now, because I find it interesting, there are business owners on every end of the scale. You've got the ones that are very impulsive, excitable, and then you've got the conservative ones. And obviously if you're working with the excitable ones, you need to keep them a little bit more controlled. And with the conservative ones, you need to push them along a little bit.
Yeah.
So can you just talk us through some of the structure, the systems, the processes that we've helped you develop that mean that you can make better decisions and sort of overcome your conservative ways?
In terms of getting work, or in terms of
anything, because it's for me it's everything, because it's not only like winning the work, but then it's also manning it in terms of recruitment. But
I think like I'm pretty confident in my ability to deliver, but I think what I've learnt from yourself is like backing yourself, backing your product, you know, learning how to emotionally deal with, I should say logically, deal with situations. I'm a pretty emotional person, so I act on emotions quite often. And you've taught me to act on logic, and that's what's pulled me back, and that's what's given me, I suppose, the clarity about what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, how I deal with my team, how I deal with a problem with one of my employees, you know, how I schedule work, how I structure my quoting system, how I structure, you know, implementing a manager, which we're doing right now, you know, and how we can, you know, palm off more work to Kylie so she can do more and be more involved and alleviate time. So it's everything really you've helped with. Yeah. I suppose giving me the logic behind decisions is probably a big one.
okay,
Decisions, like nearly every decision in business, really.
and how much do you enjoy your cash flow forecast?
I love it. Yeah, it's not the most favourite, you know, task, but we do it. Yeah, look, that is a big one. Cash flow forecasting. It's something I've never done. I'm not familiar with. You know, I'll probably put in 80%, 90% to it.
That's good.
If I'm honest.
You can be honest.
But that's another thing. That's a tool. You know, knowing what you know to a point, and then wanting to grow. You can't just grow based on a gut feel. You have to grow based on, when you're employing, you have to grow based on data. So yeah, the numbers. You got to know your numbers. You got to know, you know, what work you've got coming. You can forecast that. You know, it might not all hit, but you can forecast it, you know, 90% of the way.
Well, and there's the 10% we'll work out in the future. So
you work for your money.
So talk us through just quality of life improvements, because everything we do at the Business Benchmark Group is about a quality of life. We do believe that a decent business enables people to live the best life that they can actually live. So in terms of in the last 2 years, how has your quality of life improved in the round?
Yeah. Well, we've bought a new house. We have, I guess, the cars that we want to have. So we're both home, well, I'm home a lot for the kids, even though I work in the business. I have that flexibility that I can be in and out for my kids. So we have a 7 and a 4-year-old, so that just works great with them. Yeah, what else have we renovate a lot. Simon does.
I think from a business point of view, I think having the system, the structure and the processes in place, it gives me the opportunity to not work till, you know, I mean, my dad used to work till 8, 9 o'clock at night, you know, and as a tax accountant through the busy times, and, you know, I sort of think, well, that, you know, he did what he had to do, but I've got the opportunity to get home at a reasonable time at 6 o'clock before dinner, help with dinner, which isn't often, see the kids, play with the kids, whatever, read them a book, whatever we do, and that having the system and the procedures and the structure in place, it helps me do that, you know. And it's not, I mean, SimPro was something that we implemented a year ago, I think.
Yep.
And that's off the back of, you know, our discussions, and that's made a massive difference.
Huge difference. Because then I can take on more invoicing, purchase orders, like I do everything to do with suppliers. So it's taken a lot of that sort of busy work that Simon doesn't need to be doing, and it can be passed on to someone else. So yeah, it certainly frees up his time to then do his sales pitches and, you know, and get more work.
I think the fact that we do it together as well, that we're a good team.
I'd agree. You're an excellent team.
Yeah.
Okay, so finally, just before because we're going to move into like a Q&A and we can get some questions coming. Where do you see yourself being in, let's say, 2 years?
2 years. Yeah, you asked me this on that questionnaire.
I know I did.
I thought, I really don't know. At the time, I thought, well, I have no idea. But I think as I went away and I thought about it, I thought, well, I've got the skills, I've got the ability, I've got the backing, I've got the team surrounding me to take it to a really good level. And I think, you know, with the 300% growth, I think, you know, there's every chance, well, I'm confident that we can go another 300 and probably more than that.
Beautiful.
I think the biggest thing is just when you, because I've never grown a business, obviously. So when you have the backing behind you to give you the advice and the direction, once you get that momentum and once you start to break through, it is true what you say. It's hard to get to 1. It's a bit easier to get to 2, and it's easier to get to 5 million. And we're sort of feeling that right now. So the momentum's happening, the rhythm's happening, and it just seems to just keep going. Yeah. So I don't really want to stop it. So we'll keep pushing.
Good boy. Love it.
Is that the answer you wanted?
I think we prepared you for this versus put answers into your mouth. Hopefully hopefully it's an exciting thing to look forward to.
No, it is. It's really exciting. I never thought that I'd be, you know, that I would even be where I am right now. I knew in the back of my mind that I'd do great things in business, but I think we're doing even better things in business now with the team and the people we're working with, and I think the sky's the limit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And I will say this about you guys is that, you know, you are awesome clients, and we have a mantra which is go slow to go fast. And you are definitely the kind of people that spend the time to build the foundations on which solid growth is possible. And a lot of people underestimate how long it takes. You know, we always overestimate the things that we can do in the short term and underestimate the things we can do in the long term. And it's way better just to spend a bit more time, you know, in your conservative ways, to just build and build solidly. So, you know, very well done to you guys. Yeah. So I'd like to open it up to the floor here. You know, here you genuinely have people, and the journey is the same for everybody. We all start off at 0, and then we go from 0 to, you know, wherever we want to go. And the sky is literally the limit. You only set the limit on yourself. And the only difference between people that do and don't is basically just a bit of hard work and gumption. And obviously, you know, some decent advice, because, you know, the growth these guys have experienced before versus after, 9 years for, you know, 800, and then an extra 2 years, 2 and a bit years for an additional, well, we're now trending at 200 a month versus 60 a month. So do the maths for yourself. So, questions, please.
Simon, I'm a Sparky as well, actually. I'm the same boat as you were before you turned things around.
Yep.
So, just, I mean, everyone talks about turnover, but turnover sometimes doesn't reflect on profit. So, your 300% growth, how would that reflect on your profit margin, do you think?
So, profits, it's doubled, basically. Yeah.
Okay. It's been steady ship all the way, like, how did you find it?
So how did I find the growth?
Yeah, like how did you adapt okay? Because like I said, I'm pretty much in the same market as you were before you grew to 11. I've got 3 or 4 staff at the moment. On the tools, exactly the same. And my biggest fear is taking big jobs on because I don't have the staff, and I'm in that transition. I don't know whether you get the staff first or grow the business. You know, like pick up the work first or.
Yeah, I think we tender a lot now. So I suppose that transition from me getting off the tools to in the office was a slow transition. So it takes, I had to work my ass off on the tools, off the tools,
to get to this level.
for about a year or so, to actually get to a point where I could just go, right, chop that cord and say, I'm off the tools.
Right.
And then just be disciplined to say, well, no, I can't just go and give the boys a chop out. There's an issue if I've got to get back on the tools, that means we've got the work.
Yeah.
And that's where the cash flow forecasting comes in,
Yeah.
to say, right, we've got $900,000 worth of work to do in the next 6 months or 4 months or whatever. So, and you look at the capacity of your team, and then you think, well, that's definitely not going to cut.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think it's, for where you're at right now, you would probably need to secure, just take the risk and just tender, and if you get the work, you get the work. Just recruit.
Then recruit.
Just recruit.
Yeah.
Every week. Because guys, especially A grades, apprentices, we've got an ad and we had about 260 applicants
Oh wow.
in 2 weeks. They're not all going to be good. It's a lot.
There is staff out there.
There is apprentices, yeah.
Yeah.
They're mature age,
Yeah.
but don't be scared of hiring mature age,
Yeah.
because they're definitely worth it. We've got younger guys, we've had younger guys that just can't handle it. 18, 19. The older ones, they sort of know what they want.
Yeah.
Yeah, you pay a little bit more, but they're worth it.
What's a mature age apprentice?
21. Yeah. If you're 25, you get $4 grand, $8 grand in total from the government.
Yeah.
So it's not a bad investment.
Thanks for the advice.
Thank you.
Great feedback. Thank you so much. Well done.
Who else? Questions, curiosity?
Regarding the target market, you're saying that you go to shop fitting now. Was
Yep.
there something that impacted that decision to get you to go into shop fitting, or was it based on profitability, or what decision was that based on?
So we actually got onto a shop fitter 18 months ago,
Yeah.
and then we started to do a bit of work for him, and then we sort of realised that our target market, it's not just shop fitting, it's more the quick, the clean, the in and out, the attention to detail, which is what we do, it's what we're good at. We still do the bigger stuff where we're on site for 6 months, but that smaller stuff enables us to churn through the work a lot quicker in turn, and the work is definitely more profitable.
They're quick jobs too, like you're
Yeah.
in and out within a week,
Yeah.
and then you're getting paid.
Yeah.
So it's keeping cash flow
Yeah.
sort of flowing, and the boys, it's keeping them busy in between the bigger jobs, so they don't need to be on site all the time. So
And that's a big one. Like
Yeah.
if we have a guy on site for 4 weeks, 3-4 weeks doing a rough-in, we can't, like he's just done for that month.
Yeah.
So although you make progress payments, if you get the smaller stuff, the shop fitting, it's in and out, you can
So there's the
you can
cash
churn
flow.
through
Yeah.
100 grand in
Yeah.
a month just with one customer. So it's, yeah. Yep.
Well done.
Sorry?
You're doing well, guys. Well done.
Thank you.
Since you can see that you look like a good team, and we're a team, so it's nice
Yeah.
when you see a good team. So,
Yeah.
What I wanted to ask was around tendering, because
Mhm.
that's a shift in the way you take on business. And
Yeah.
I must admit, we started looking tendering, and you go, oh, I don't know where to look, and
Yeah.
it's really hard to target in on finding the right sort of tenders for what we do. And I was just curious for the path you went down and how you got there.
So tendering, when I say tendering, it's quoting for current customers and potential customers that we're after. So from a tendering point of view, because we've grown so much in 2 years, there's just more tendering there.
Yeah.
They're realising our potential, and they're realising the service that they're getting. So, one client we picked up had an electrician. Now he doesn't have that electrician, and he uses us only. And we get maybe 80 to 100 grand's worth of work a month from him. and that's just off the back of just delivering.
And with that, do you find your roles a lot around account management then? You know, sort of like keeping those regular clients you've got, that you've got a pulse of how things are going on the jobs and
Yeah. So
looking for that next opportunity?
Kylie does all the accounts, but I'm out managing jobs, managing the guys, ordering materials. I'm doing sort of everything at the moment.
But slowly
We're
handing
working,
it over to
slowly
somebody.
handing it over.
Absolutely. You've got your two IC that you're grooming.
Yes.
Well done. Alrighty, well,
That's right. I just wanted to ask how you measured profit when you said, I had 2 years where I was paid less than the second-year apprentice. So now that you say your profitability's increased, how do you, when you're not paying yourself basically, and how do you measure profit?
So you're referring to the 16 grand that we made in a year? So that was, when we started.
But it wasn't after your salary.
Sorry?
You hadn't paid yourself.
No, we weren't paying ourselves a wage at that point. So
We were just sole traders back then.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
as we've gotten bigger, that's where we sort of pay ourselves a wage now and
Yeah.
make sure that
Right,
nothing.
so my question then is, so you count profit after your wages now?
We do now, yeah.
Good question. Well done. I've got one question. I'm going to get Kylie to answer this. What do you feel is the core obstacle to your continued growth as a business? What's going to get in the way of your continued velocity?
Well, only us if we don't want to keep going.
Great answer.
So we're the ones that are getting our way.
And that's the truth. Well done. Damien, well done. Great job.
thank you.
Amazing job. You're an exceptional coach.
Thank you.
These aren't
Yes,
bad.
thank you.
Hi, I'm Stefan Kazakis from Business Benchmark Group, and just such a reflective and progressive, all in the same token, interview there by Damien Churton and Simon and Kylie Frank. I just think it was a phenomenal sharing on their behalf to just give us an insight as to what it's like to be a young business owner, having a young family, and your apprentice, your second-year apprentice earns more than you, and the bitter pill that must be. I just think that was so raw and so relevant, and there are so many of our clients and or business owners that we work with, and no different to the businesses I've personally grown. You know, that's such a place of familiarity where we need to go through those dark stages to get to the stage of, predictability and sustainability, which is exactly where Simon, Powercom Electrical and the family is right now, which is brilliant. And you know, the relevance of the quality of life improvement, and how Kylie and Simon are just a formidable partnership, not only in business but very importantly in life. I just think that's so critical, and I know at Business Benchmark Group it's an outcome we have close to our heart, to ensure every one of our clients has a phenomenal quality of life, particularly for their journey when they're with us. I mean, it's a metric, it's a barometer, and it's a certain takeaway that we wish to be achieving behind the scenes. We really wish to reach out to every one of you right now and think about the electrical contractors that might be working with you. Think about the plumbers that might be working with you. Think about plumbers, electrical contractors, tradie-based businesses, or anyone that is in business that has 5 or more people on their full-time team. I would really appreciate every one of you to just sort of, just think about who do you know in those areas? Who do you know that is a business owner that has 5 or more people on the team that ultimately can be our next Powercom by virtue of your introduction to them and us? How can you help us continue to build our opportunity to create the next Powercom Electrical story? How can we create the next opportunity to help a fellow business owner that you would know? You know what it's like for someone to be introduced to Business Benchmark Group. way more often than not, we get it so right. Way more often than not, we show extreme care and extreme white glove approach to making sure that the brutal truth, once it's confirmed, and then the plan is definitely confirmed, the only way is up. So I'm really reaching out to every one of you to help us, to help you, and ultimately help our community by introducing us, helping us with referrals to people who could be attending our next 1 or 2 or 3 business breakthrough workshops that we run on a weekly basis at Level 8 at Westfield Tower. I'm Stefan Kazakis. I'm reaching out to every one of you. This is Business Benchmark Group, where every small business owner can achieve big business success.
For more information about Business Benchmark Group's coaching, education and training programs, visit businessbenchmarkgroup.com.au or call 039001 0878. If you liked this podcast, please rate it on iTunes, Stitcher or SoundCloud and leave feedback as well. Stefan shares so much value in all his podcasts, and we encourage you to go through the archives and listen to other episodes of the Business Benchmark Group podcast. Thank you for listening.